Write about Iranian plate also. Iranian plate. Iranian plate. These are the plates which I have given you the updated version, which were in current news also. From now, any plate, if it is seen in current, for example, Turkey had earthquakes, if you could remember, last year, I hope. There were many casualties. India supported also, if you remember that, right? Then why did the earthquake occur in Turkey? So the answer was Turkish plate, which has moved further, that has created earthquakes in that particular region. So here as such Turkish plate is not visible, but whenever such kind of plates recognition comes in current affair, you are supposed to remember those particular plates. अब तो मैंने जितना बहुत important है plates का नाम मैंने दे दिया. Now I have given you the list of plates which are important, but from now whichever comes in newspaper, you are supposed to update it to these particular plates as such. Is this clear for everyone? Done? Now these major plates and minor plates floating on asthenosphere. When they are floating on asthenosphere, in asthenosphere we have convectional cell. Everyone remember, or weekend pe bhul gaye what is convectional cell? Everyone remember the convectional cell? Yes or no? Convectional cell. So convectional cell is nothing but beneath the crust, the magma which generally tends to move beneath the crust, the magma which generally tends to move, that moves in a circular format way, and movement of that particular magma in circular format way, it is called as convectional cell. Now these lithospheric plates which are floating on this particular convectional cell, in the way the convectional cell moves, what would happen to lithosphere? Lithosphere will also move. And when we have these lithospheric plates which are moving, plates will interact. Either two plates interact towards each other, either two plates interact away from each other, either two plates interact just bypassing each other, saying hi, hello. You know, we have such kind of interactions. So that interactions which we are going to study, that itself is plate tectonics theory. You can write this statement. The lithospheric plates floating on asthenosphere, the lithospheric plates floating on asthenosphere, the lithospheric plates floating on asthenosphere tend to interact between themselves, which we are studying it as plate tectonics theory, Clear? Done? In these interactions, the first interaction is two plates coming towards each other. When two different plates, two lithospheric plates, North American plate, Pacific plate, Eurasian plate, Pacific plate, Indian plate, Eurasian plate, African plate, Eurasian plate. When two plates are coming towards each other, this is called as convergent plate boundary. When two plates are coming towards each other, then it shall be called as convergent plate boundary. And this convergent plate boundary is associated with descending and converging limbs of convectional cell. These plate boundaries, they are having segment of descending limb and converging limb interaction. It means you can ask me a question, sir, where do we have convergent plate boundaries? My answer is wherever we have descending limb of the convectional cell, converging limb of the convectional cell. Gurtunda, that convectional cell has 4 limbs: ascending limb, diverging limb, descending limb, converging limb. Wherever we had descending limb, wherever we had converging limb, there we have convergent plate boundary. When plates are moving away. So here what are the forces which applied when plates are moving towards each other? Forces applied include compressional forces. Compressional forces. When plates are moving away from each other, we call it as divergent plate boundary. Under which convectional cell they have attached? Diverging and ascending limb. Very good. So they are associated with ascending and diverging limbs. So it means wherever we have ascending limb, wherever we have, there we shall be finding. Already we have seen on the sea floor, if divergent plate boundary is happening, we were experiencing sea floor spreading. That already we have experienced, right? Now third one. What are the forces applied here? Tensional forces. Forces which are moving away from each other. Third one, transform plate boundary. I know. What is transform plate boundary? When plates are moving side by side, when plates are moving side by side, they are considered as transform plate boundary. They are considered as transform plate boundary. They are not associated with any convectional cell, neither ascending nor diverging, descending. They are not associated with any cell. They are just associated with the transform segment. So transform plate boundaries might be associated with convergent plate boundary or divergent plate boundaries as such. They are not independent. Sometimes they would be independent, but majority of the times iske saath mein ya iske saath mein rahega. If you want to get this thing to be understood, open your atlas. Open your atlas and open the map of plate tectonics in it. Open the map of plate tectonics in it. Have you opened it? There, if you could see, convergent, divergent and transform plate boundaries have been denoted differently. Have you seen it? At certain locations you have convergent, at certain locations you have the conservative, which is nothing but the transform plate boundary को conservative बोलते हैं. The other name is called as conservative plate boundary. Are you getting this? Have you found the map or not? अगर मैप ही ढूंढ रहे हो अब तक तो how many does not have atlas with you? Why? Why is the question? What's your name? Vamshi. Where are you from, Vamshi? Kadapa. You have left it in Kadapa? It has room lo em chestundi. Room lo వదిలేసి వచ్చినావు. పెళ్ళి అయితే ఎవడు వదిలేస్తుంది? You marry the books. Otherwise, ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పిన అనుకోండి, నేను ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ క్లాస్లోకి వచ్చేటప్పుడు నా బుక్ నేను ఇంట్లో వదిలేసి వచ్చినా అంటే మీకు ఎట్లా అబ్నార్మల్గా ఉంటుంది? ఉంటుందా? లేకపోతే వాట్స్ యువర్ నేమ్? వేర్ ఆర్ యూ ఫ్రమ్? Guntur. What is famous in Guntur then? No idea. Why? You? Nothing is famous in Guntur. Agar if I come to your region, what you will show me? पानी पूरी खिलाएंगे. ये तो मैं इधर खा लूंगा नीचे. Anyone else who does not have atlas? అమ్మా, నేను అమ్మాయిలని తిట్టను అని అయితే అనుకోకండి. దే ఆర్ సెన్సిటివ్, ఐ వోంట్ స్కోల్డ్. ఇంకా అబ్బాయిలన్న ముఖం జాలి చూసాను వదిలేస్తా. అట్లాస్ తెచ్చుకోకపోతే మీరే మార్క్ చేసుకోరు. ఇప్పుడు నేను తిడతానేమో తిట్టినా అని, తిట్టకపోతేనేమో తిట్టలేదని, తిడితేనేమో తిట్టినా అని ఫోన్ చేస్తారు, తిట్టకపోతేనేమో పట్టించుకోవట్లేదు అంటారు. దొరికింది అది. పానీపూరి गुंटूर में मिर्ची फेमस है, टोबैको फेमस है, red soils are famous in Guntur, black soils are famous in Guntur. Guntur is also known for paddy, cashew nuts, cotton to some extent, turmeric. We have food processing industries. Market yards are very famous in Guntur. In Guntur belt and Ongole, Nellore belt, the most famous is the market mandi systems. अगर आप इंटरव्यू में जाएंगे तो पानी पूरी बोलेंगे तो वो कचौरी खिलाएगा तुम्हें. Is this clear? Done? Clear with this? Shall we move further? First we'll start up with, ఇది డ్రా చేసుకున్నారా? ఇది చేసారా? First we'll start up with convergent plate boundary. Phone का दियो, ये tablet. What do you mean by convergent plate boundary? Plates moving towards each other. And if you have witnessed the plates in the map, we have major plate and minor plate, right? And if you differentiate them in other way, you have continental plates and oceanic plates. Either आपके पास like you will find continent plate or you will find oceanic plate. So in convergent plate boundary where plates are moving towards each other, we may have permutation and combination, and the permutation and combination is we might have oceanic collision. Two oceanic plates might collide. One oceanic, one continent. We may have three different types of interactions. And these three different type of interactions will give us three more results, three different results. What are those particular results? Let's see first. Okay. First, let's check out with oceanic collision. When two oceanic plates are coming towards each other, okay, what would happen? Higher the density will move in. In continent and ocean, the higher the density is ocean, so obviously ocean moved. But here, these both are oceanic plates. Now which one will move in? Which is more larger, which is more in volume, that is more in denser. So obviously plate which is more denser is the plate which is more larger. For example, if this is Philippines plate, this is Pacific plate, which one would move? Obviously Pacific plate will subduct. This process is called as subduction. No, subsidence is the word which you use within the plate, not within between the plates. This is subduction. This is the word which we are going to use. What would be the resultant when subduction happens? We have seen this, right? Whenever there is subduction, there will be trench formation for sure. What is trench? The deepest portion of ocean. The deepest portion of ocean. Whenever this has entered into the mantle, what would happen? It melts. More viscous magma developed. Obviously, when it melts into magma. New magma has been created. This magma which has high viscosity, but low fluidity, low density. Now, when the already surrounding magmatic content is there, this magma which is there, this magma which is having high viscosity, low density, it will float. It will float. So it will get that buoyancy effect. Buoyancy effect. That buoyancy effect will make the magma to push towards the crust. When the magma is pushing towards the crust, magma will find out some crack in that crust. And magma, when it finds some crack in the crust, magma tends to flow out as a volcanic eruption. In this way, on the opposite plate, we shall be having volcanic eruption which generally tends to generate. And this volcanic eruption which generally tends to generate, this volcanic eruption will not spread the magma like what we have seen in seafloor spreading. Because wahan pe we had basaltic magma, the fast flowing magma. But here the magma is viscous. So it won't spread there. Rather it accumulates. And when it accumulates, generation by generation, generation by generation, generation by generation, it comes above the sea level, creating volcanic island, which we call it as island arc, archipelago, island archipelago antam, technical word. Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, all these volcanic islands, all these islands are volcanic in nature. They are formed with this particular volcanism which has happened along the subduction zone, creating trench, creating new magma and erupting onto the opposite slab. Hopefully, the plates involved in that particular formation might differ. For example, in Philippines formation, Philippines plate and Sunda plate is involved. In Indonesia formation, Indo-Australian plate and Sunda plate are involved. In Japan formation, Philippines, Pacific and Eurasian plate might have been involved, but process is same. So in this way, generally we have island arc formations. So whenever there shall be movement of two oceanic plates together, one oceanic plate automatically subducts. When one oceanic plate automatically subducts, it creates trench, and along the trench we have melting process after the trench into the mantle, and that subducted matter enters onto the opposite slab, creating volcanic eruption, and that generation by generation, when that volcanic eruption comes onto that surface, it leads to volcanic islands, Japan, Indonesia, Philippines archipelago. And there is one more element. I have said that trench, along the trench the oceanic crust is destroyed, and those particular other elements which are debris, rock, small mountain ridges, they generally tend to get peel off. पूरा oceanic crust जाने का जगह ही नहीं है वहां पे. So obviously what would happen is, this entire segmental structure which is there, that peels off. When it tends to peel off, that peeled off material accumulates in the trench, and once the trench bucket is pulled, it tends to accumulate onto the opposite slab, creating a mound of debris in that way, which results into formation of accretionary prism. This is not a common thing which generally would be created, but this is one important segment which we have to remember: accretionary prism formation. So in this way we shall be having formation of island arcs, trenches, subduction zones and accretionary prisms. If you see the similar pattern for oceanic-continental collision, almost the pattern is same, but only thing is the resultant differs a bit. How the resultant differs a bit, that I will be showing you. This is clear, right? Let me show you that, then you can draw it. In oceanic-continental collision, oceanic plate, continental plate, oceanic plate subducts again, fix. Wherever there is oceanic continent, oceanic plate being denser, that subducts. What would happen? Subduction, trench, and the trench which is formed here, this is not that deeper as the trench which is formed at oceanic-oceanic collision. So trenches which are formed along oceanic-oceanic collision, they are much more deeper in relation with that of trenches which are formed at oceanic-continental collision as such. Are you getting this point, everyone? Now, process is same. Again, when it enters into mantle, what would happen? It melts. When it melts, new magma is created, and now this new magma, again it is viscous magma, having high silica content, will have low density. So surrounding magma will give it the biontic effect. वहां पे ओशनिक क्रस्ट था, इजीली आ गया. It was very easy because thickness was very low, so it was very easy for it to come out. But यहाँ पे we have continental crust. Is it that easy? So it creates immense pressure, immense, and once it bursts, it creates a huge composite cone of volcano developed. You have seen in movies, you directly तो देखे नहीं होंगे, देखे तो इधर नहीं बैठते है ना. Movies లో అయితే చూస్తుంటారు volcanic eruption, that volcano है ना, you have seen it. So that kind of huge volcanic cone is developed with this. There we were calling them as island arcs. Here we will be calling it as continental arcs. Are you getting this point? But there what we call it as accretionary prism, but here we will change the name. है ना, बिरयानी को हैदराबाद में बिरयानी बोलते हैं, आंध्र तरफ पुलाव बोलते हैं. कंटेंट तो सेम है ना, कंटेंट इज सेम, मिक्सिंग नॉन वेजिटेरियन मसाला. और क्या बोलते हैं, बिरयानी इज डिफरेंट. व्हाट इज बिरयानी? When did biryani arrive? If you could let me know. So it was from Middle East, where during warlike situation, cooking meat separately, rice separately, sherwa separately did not happen. What they have did is, under the heat, they have clubbed everything and cooked with dough on it. That became biryani. Andhra's largest restaurant reels also ఉంటాయి. Mutton palav, dum biryani ani. So biryani is, whatever Hyderabad, Lucknow, taste might differ, the making process might differ. Everything halting and cooking at one particular zone is biryani. Wherever it cooks in that way, it's biryani. The segment might change. Hyderabad mein usko alag se banate, Andhra mein alag se banate. So here also the process is same. The name which we are calling there is called as accretionary. यहाँ पे हम क्या बोलते हैं? Accretionary wedge. Accretionary wedge. Just name change. Now this accretionary wedge which has been formed in the trench, it will create more compressional force. Why? Because there is no gap. This is a solidified rock, let's assume. Now the crust is being pushed. The continental crust is also being pushed this side. Oceanic crust is pushing this side. Now there is a compressional force which is provided by this wedge. When compressional force is provided by this particular wedge, what would happen? The crust folds because of this compressional force. And hence here we also see if you see the North American map, along this zone, you will find rocky mountains, which are fold mountains. But apart from that, here, if you see, you find Cascade Range, which is not fold, which is volcanic continental arc. The Coast Range, Cascade Range, there you will find along that North American coast, they are these particular mountainous ranges. Rockies are only fold. So here, continental arcs are separate, fold mountains are separate. But if you take the case study of South America, you find Andes. Same. Here, what are the plates involved? North American plate, Pacific, and there is one more minor plate, Juan de Fuca. You should never forget that Juan de Fuca Plate. So for rocky formation to happen, North America pushed westward, Pacific and Juan de Fuca Plates pushed eastward. So trenches have been formed along this particular zone, right? Now here, what are the plates involved for formation of Andes? South American plate, Nazca Plate. No Pacific Plate involved here. This is minute understanding required for UPSC. Nazca Plate collision with South American Plate that has resulted into formation of Andes mountain ranges. Are you getting this point, everyone? Clear with this? Everyone clear with this? Now, the difference between this North American and South American Plate, Rockies and Andes, along the Rockies you will find separate Rockies, separate Cascade, separate coast, separate Sierra Nevada range, everything separate. But in Andes, we did not find that space. So along Andes, what happened is, first continental arcs formed, they got folded. No separate fold mountains. Continental arcs were formed. These continental arcs only folded. He is the person who cooks. He is the person who washes the dishes. In that way, the Andes which are there, they have been created. They have been formed as continental arcs and they have folded. So no separate mountain ranges. That's why along Andes, we find the highest volcanoes of the world. Because these continental arcs are volcanic mountains, they have folded, they raised their heights. Most highest volcanoes altitude wise are found along Andes, and in Andes we will have the highest peaks. Aconcagua, Mount Ojos del Salado, which are the volcanic peaks. And in 2026 UPSC paper, he has asked a question on Mount Active volcano, जो सबको पता नहीं था, but अगर आप तुक्का भी लगाएंगे ना, most of these highest volcanoes are present at Ecuador. Ecuador is a country in that South American belt, so most highest active volcanoes are present in that particular zone. Are you getting this point? Everyone clear with this? Everyone? So this is about the oceanic collision and oceanic continental collision. This is the difference which has been applied.